What's up and what's going on, fellow fanatics? I appreciate all of you guys being here tonight. Thank you guys for look at this. On time. Am I on time because it's just me tonight and I don't have to wait? Oh no, don't, let me stop. I'm joking. I'm always the one that's late. They're always the ones that are on time. Yeah, appreciate you guys being here. I am on time tonight. It's just myself tonight. Everybody and their moms are sick. Ant-Man 1991, appreciate you being here. You Bombay for sure. Everybody is sick. We've got people out at my job sick. Corey, KJ, her son, is sick. Q has been sick for the past 2-3 days. So everybody is currently sick, and there's that whole lingering threat of the country being shut down again, potentially due to the things going on with COVID and blah blah blah. I'm not sick, and I hope I don't get sick. Like I said, we got 6 people out at work sick, so I'm hoping I don't get sick. And I hope everybody out there is staying safe too. Wash your hands, cover your mouths, don't get sick, stay away from dirty people and spaces. Connoisseur Triple Salute, appreciate you being here. He said on time. Yes, I am on time tonight. Black Claw, appreciate you being here. Ant-Man 991 said, I thought we were done with COVID issues. I hope it's just the flu. I thought we were done with it too, but they've been talking about on the news how, there's schools shutting down in certain states and things again already. And I'm just like, man, I hope it doesn't come to that, to where the country is getting shut down again. But we'll see. I don't know. Dexter, I appreciate you being here tonight. I do have some things I'll talk to you guys about. Not a lot of news today. Not a lot of news at all today. Today was a slower news day. But there were some things that did come out that we can talk about. One thing that I will say that's not really on the list here, but I did see it. I saw it from Comic Cave. I think that's the name of their page, their Pop Crave or something like that. They were talking about how a solo Harley Quinn film has been pitched to DC Studios for the new rebooted DC. And as we know, I apologize. Why am I blanking on name? Help me out. I shouldn't need help on that. Who in the hell plays why am I blanking as soon as I see it? Yes, damn. What the fuck? Margot Robbie. We know that Margot Robbie is staying on as Harley Quinn in James Gunn's rebooted universe for DC. So they've pitched a solo film at him and Peter Safran, and we'll see where that goes. But I did see that was posted today. Like I said, very slow news day. Some of the things that we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about director Guillermo del Toro and how he was about 6 years ago supposed to have a Star Wars film that got scrapped. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about and what that was going to be around and what he wanted it to be and things like that. So we'll get into that and look at what that's about. We're going to get on some Spider-Man 4 updates. There's some things to talk about with Spider-Man 4. Actually, some exciting things to talk about with Spider-Man 4. I know that no matter what's going on in the MCU and things like that, Spider-Man, as we all know from No Way Home and Across the Spider-Verse and many other Spider-Man films, Spider-Man puts asses in the seats next to X-Men. Spider-Man's comics and Marvel are the highest selling. So, Spider-Man is a household name. That's not, everybody knows that. So, regardless of what's going on outside in the MCU, I know that we're all excited to see Spider-Man back in the MCU, and especially to see what's going on in Peter's life after the events of No Way Home and etc. So we'll get into the things that are going on about what they've got to say about that film and things like that. And the last thing we're going to talk about tonight is going to be the creator of the film starring John David Washington. I saw the trailer first when we watched the Flash film, and I'll get into that. But we're going to talk about that because they've got the first reactions have come out for that film, and they are very, very positive. So we're going to get into that, and we'll watch the final trailer for that as well. I don't know if everybody has seen it. I've already seen that, but we'll get into that and watch that final trailer as well. Let's see. Professor Film Fam, we appreciate you being here. Raptor Cloak, appreciate you being here. T'Challa Forever, TJ Never, as always. Zing Beto, appreciate you being here. Let's see. All right. So let's get into the first things first here. Let's get into the Del Toro Star Wars film that was scrapped. So filmmaker Guillermo del Toro has recently confirmed that before Rogue One, he was working on a Star Wars film. And that's so interesting because, like I said, Rogue One was great. Q is in the chat. Q says that it was he thinks it was the fair. Somebody asked that. Somebody asked, was it the fair food? So Guillermo del Toro was supposed to have a Star Wars film that was going to take the place of Rogue One. It was originally had the slot before Rogue One was put in its place. Now I love Rogue One, and I still choose Rogue One, and we'll get into what his was going to be over. But I still choose Rogue One over this. But this still would have been dope. I wish this still could be on the table, or would have stayed on the table at least. But a writer, David S. Gore, who wrote Blade, Batman Begins, Man of Steel, he revealed on the Happy Sad podcast with Joshua Harswitz that he wrote a script for Star Wars. He wrote the script for the Star Wars film that Del Toro was supposed to helm, and he said he wrote it about 6 years ago. This is what he said about it. I'll let you guys see that. Hold on one second. And this was on the Happy Sad podcast.
I wrote an unproduced Star Wars movie that Guillermo del Toro was going to direct.
Stop it. Wait, David, I have 6 follow-ups. What?
Yeah.
When? Well, tell me something.
That was about 4 years ago, and then I also wrote an unproduced. I have a scriptment for an Origins of the Jedi movie, also for Star Wars, that I wrote for them. That took place 25,000 years before the first Star Wars film. So. That would have been. I got to do the Vader Immortal VR thing, but dabbling in Star Wars, would have been fun for me.
What happened? Guillermo and Star Wars and you seems like a no-brainer to greenlight. What happened?
There was just a lot of behind stuff going on at Lucasfilm at the time.
Kathleen Kennedy.
It's a cool script. Have you had Guillermo on the show?
Yeah.
You'll I should look that up. You have to ask him about that next time he's on. It's a cool script. There's a lot of cool artwork from it that was produced.
Oh wow, yeah! I would love to see the artwork. I would love to see the script. For those of you that don't know, the film was the film was going to be a Godfather Mafia-esque type film. It was going to it was going to follow the crime syndicate. The crime syndicates, but mainly the Hutts. It was going to show how the Hutts came to be the Hutts. I don't know if it was going to show how they became to be the Hutts, or if it was just going to jump us in with them already being the crime bosses that they are in Star Wars in the underworld. Because it's a syndicate. They're not the only crime lords. You've got others in there as well. You've got the Black Sun. You've got I always forget their names off of the Spices, blanking on their names as well. But you've got other syndicates that are in that underworld and criminal underworld there for Star Wars as well. So I think this would have been dope to had seen, because Del Toro also confirmed on Twitter that that this was true and that it was going to follow Jabba the Hutt. And like I said, with how weird and creepy and crawly some of his films can be, or some of the films under his resume or within his resume are, seeing a Godfather, Mafia, criminal underworld Star Wars film would have been super dope for me. I think that would have been cool. So I hate that his film did get scrapped. I really want to see what the artwork for it, and I would love to hear or see the script as well, to see what that script was going to be and what he was going to, what they were really going to do with that. Before the film, there was also supposed to have, they were going to do, this was before Disney acquired the rights to Star Wars. They were going to do a criminal underworld. This was going to be before Mandalorian. This was going to be the very first Star Wars TV show. This was before Disney Plus. This is going to be the very first Star Wars TV show. And it was going to be, bro, there's actually clips of it. 1 second. They did stuff for it. Hold on, I'll show you. 1 second. Yeah, the Jinx. Yeah, I mentioned the Hutts. It would have the film would have followed the Hutts. Let me see here really quick. Yep, here it is, I believe. I believe this is it. Let me make sure this is it. Yep, this is it. All right, so back into, I'll read this really quick. It says, released test footage from 2010 of the canceled Star Wars TV show Underworld, which was to take place in the lower levels of Coruscant. The series was set after the events of Order 66, the video game 1313, which also got canceled. I don't know if anybody knows what 1313 is. Like I said, it's a slow news day, so if you don't want to talk Star Wars, we're not talking Star Wars the whole time. I'm about to move to the next thing here in a minute. But since I mentioned 1313, I'll show you guys the clips from 1313 as well. It was a video game that where we were going to get to play as Boba Fett, and it got scrapped as well. So many dope Star Wars things get scrapped, but they want to keep the crazy shit that nobody wants. So the video game 1313 was to be the tie-in of the series, and which is also really cool. Due to the immense cost of shooting the series, as well as the selling of Lucasfilm to Disney, Underworld was delayed and eventually canceled. This footage was provided by Stargate Studios, whose VFX team includes Doctor Who on their resume, The Walking Dead, and in partnership with Lucasfilm. So this was, like I said, this was going to be the show. And this thing is 9 minutes, but we're not watching this whole thing. And it's just test footage. Like, I don't think there's any... I haven't watched this in a while, but I don't think there's any lines spoken or anything like that. But yeah, so they were going to already do a criminal underworld type show. So seeing, like... And this was... Again, before Disney acquired the rights, so I want to say this might have been 6 years ago. This might be, well, it says 2010. So was that? But I'm trying to figure out when Del Toro's. Let me see.
Droid reports rebel activity in the area.
Del Toro's would have been. So this was 2010. Del Toro's would have been in 2017. But we also know that Star Wars likes to connect a lot of their stuff that they do. Everything is connected in Star Wars. So maybe this. Oh, there are lines. The Criminal Underworld show might have connected to the Underworld criminal or film that would have followed the Hutts that Del Toro was working on. So yeah, this was the first, before Disney Plus, before Disney fucking up Star Wars and acquiring the rights to it and everything like that. This was going to be the very first show.
Down the area and search the vehicle.
I think I'm being followed.
Initiate search. Hands where I can see them.
And like I said, the events would have taken place after Order 66 and whatnot. This is them working behind the scenes, working on the show.
You're there?
Reports rebel activity in the area.
Go, go, go. Hustle.
Yeah.
Cloth, long strips of green cloth.
Yeah. So they had that going. They had that going before Del Toro's film. And this was 1313. Now, 1313 again was a video game. Now, the video game tied into the show. Here is, let me see.
Seen some pretty sorry excuses for transports in my time. This has got to be the saddest rust bucket I've ever set foot in.
I've seen worse. Hell, I've lived in worse.
But if it's so dangerous where we're going, why aren't we taking your ship to get there? I mean, is this thing even armed?
We needed something less obvious.
Yeah. Let's get to the
Edit.
gameplay.
Catch a deep breath.
Yeah, there's the gameplay. So you would have been playing as Boba. I believe you're playing as Boba. So they had like the game was done, bro. Like,
They're taking the mark!
yeah, the game was done. They were done with it and everything, but they canceled it because they canceled the Underworld. Well, they canceled it because, of course, like I said, Disney acquired the rights to Star Wars and canceled a lot of shit. So yeah. This would have been really, really cool to play. I don't know why they can't still just release the damn game.
That's fresh air you'll get for a while.
To level 1313.
Yeah.
The rings aren't on Coruscant. They're underneath it. It's a long way down. It gets a lot dirtier where we're headed.
You've reached level 1313.
Man, yeah. Would have been dope. Would have been dope. Yeah, I hate when Star Wars cancels good shit. Good shit. Yeah, great. 1313 was going to be fire. That game would have been fire. Appreciate everybody else being here. Raymond, appreciate you being here. Cornelius, appreciate you. B. Smith, appreciate it. Andre, Gray, Omega Zero, Not Again 90, appreciate all you guys being here. Gray said that joint was going to be like the Uncharted in space, the way they were talking about it. Man, I'm telling you, that game looked so fun. Like that was a game that I really hated when they canceled that one. Like since we're talking about these, do y'all remember this one? This one I had too. I had this one. Let me see. Tell me if y'all remember this one. Is this the trailer for it? No, where's the... Yeah, this was the TV trailer. I remember this trailer. Okay, check this out. I know y'all remember this one. Gray, you gotta remember this one. Where's D Stizzle?
Did you miss me?
You're Jango Fett, the most ruthless bounty hunter the galaxy has ever seen. Star Wars bounty hunter, rated T for teen.
that was one of my favorite games. I loved that game, bro. That game was fun. That was a fun one. Star Wars had some good games back in the day. Omega 095 said it's weird Disney ended LucasArts. Yeah, I know, man. I know, bro. They had some. LucasArts had some great games back in the day. They really did. You know, yeah, Grace said he remembers that one. Yeah, before the dark times, before Disney took over. Yeah, Omega, I remember it. I remember LucasArts. B. Smith said Andor is probably Disney's answer to Underworld, which in my opinion is a great show. It starts slow, but by episode 4 it takes off and doesn't slow down. And maybe it is. Maybe that is their answer to it. But I would still like to see, I mean, because, you know, there's Coruscant that we all see in the movies and things like that, and in the shows, or in what we know of Coruscant, the upper levels, but you never see the lower levels, like even in episode 2 when they're chasing after Zem. That's not really the lower levels of Coruscant, you know. That the lower levels of Coruscant, you know. Better example, the Obi-Wan and Anakin comics that are canon to the current timeline on Star Wars. There's a scene in that comic where Palpatine is talking to Mace Windu and Obi-Wan while they're watching Anakin train, and then there's some other Padawans while Anakin is training that are whispering things about him, saying, you know, that he's a weirdo and he's this and he's that, blah blah blah, to where Anakin, you know, turns around on him and then takes their lightsabers off of them with the Force, and then turns their lightsabers on, and it says, you know, what do you think about me now, and all these things like that, to where Obi-Wan jumps in, breaks it up, and so Palpatine tells Mace Windu, you know, why don't you let me, you know, talk to the boy, mentor him a little bit. I have a special connection to him, to where Mace Windu told him, you know, we appreciate that, you know, Chancellor, but this is a Jedi matter. This is a Jedi affair. We'll handle this. And to where Palpatine then told him, yes, but I am the Supreme Chancellor, and as the Supreme Chancellor, I have jurisdiction over the Jedi. So, Obi-Wan took him to see Palpatine and left him with Palpatine. So Palpatine took Anakin to the lower levels in that comic, took him down, all the way down to the lower levels, and told him, he said, from time to time, I like to come down here in a disguise and see if there's anything that I can do better to help, you know, making up, you know, being Palpatine. They go down to the lower levels and things like that, and when they're down there, it's very different. Again, it's different than the upper levels of Coruscant. The lower levels of Coruscant, it's a lot of gangs and like I said, the Hutts, the crime syndicates. You've got so much evil and people being deceitful, and it's just a completely different world down there. And that in a TV show format, I think could be really good. Again, especially if you're following, even if it is a film like that, like Del Toro was going to do, following the Hutts like that, but not just showing the Hutts, showing the other crime syndicates involved and everything. That would have been dope. That would have been dope. Grace said Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. Yes, that was a good one too. B. Smith said, I agree, Darius. The ability to see more of the underworld would be great. Yeah. Omega Zero said, Lucas Jedi games treat Luke better than Disney sequels. Yeah, that's true too. Let's see. Another one. It's this one. This was another one of my favorites. Let me see if I can pull the TV trailer up for it. Yeah, this was the trailer. Okay, here we go. Y'all remember this one?
I see you becoming the greatest of all Jedi.
Yeah, then he like came at the camera. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Coming to a console near you. That was a fun one too. That game was a fun one too. I remember when I got that game, stayed up all night trying to beat that game. It took me and a couple friends. Because we were playing it on, what was it, like Jedi, then Master Jedi. Like, yeah, we were playing it on, like, Master Jedi. It's fun. Fun game. Let's see. B. Smith said, I don't know why Disney hates Luke Skywalker so much. I fear that scene in Episode 8 of Season 2 of The Mandalorian was all they will ever allow, and that was surprising. You know, with Dave's Heir to the Empire film, I wouldn't put it past Dave to Luke the much-needed respect that he is owed. Rhymes, we appreciate you being here. Omega said, there's an alternate ending, yes, where Anakin became the Emperor in that game. Yes, I remember. There is. Gray said, I played that one all the time when it came out. Yep, so did I. That was a fun one. Loved that one. I don't remember what this is the last one I'll do. I don't remember what the trailer looked like for this one though. No, not that one. When did that come out? Was that 05? That might have been 05. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. That was 05. All right.
The first day of combat for the 501st was nothing like I thought it would be. We've been training for years.
Bro, this game is epic, bro. This is top tier OG level Star Wars games.
But nothing can prepare you for the reality of combat. The destruction. The chaos. They say the 501st got the best of this war. We also got the worst. And it's only just begun.
On November 1st, prepare yourself for the sequel to the best-selling Star Wars game of all time. Star Wars Battlefront 2, the game that lets you fight all the classic battles any way you want. Now lets you fight on all new Episode 3 planets, fight as a Jedi, and for the first time ever, fight in space. Even board a Star Destroyer and take the battle inside. Fight on the front lines of the saga's most epic battles. From any side. In any vehicle. With any weapon. Star Wars Battlefront 2 on November 1st. You fight again. Rated G for teen.
Shit, that shit was, when that came out, that was OP. And it still is. That new one, bro, if they just would have made the new Battlefront 2, like, and expanded on, made it better, expanded on the first OG one, I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I don't like Battlefront 2, the newer one. I do not. I'm not a fan. I played it once and I did not have a good time. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So but that one was tough. Dexter said, I played the hell out. Bro, me too. Me too. Like that was my go-to video game to play all the time. If I wasn't playing at the time, like 2K wasn't, like back in the day, 2K wasn't like the go. It was always NBA Live. Like, so if I wasn't playing NBA Live and cheating, making super teams, then I was definitely playing Battlefront 2 for sure. Omega Zero said Zack Snyder is doing what Lucas has done. He said in an interview that Rebel Moon will expand more than video games, with video games coming too. Yeah, he is the teaser. That's what he called it. You know, that was a 3-minute teaser that we got for Rebel Moon. So if that was the teaser, I'm interested to see what the actual trailer is going to look like. We've got Gray that said, I'm like Brian Williams, I was there. Yeah. Mega Zero said, if Lucas never sold his company, trust me, he would have accepted Snyder's rated R dark story for Star Wars. Yeah, I know he hates he sold it too. I hate he sold it. I really do. I hate he sold it. Okay. So let's see. We'll move on. We'll move on from Star Wars. We'll move to the next topic. Nadia90 said, you have top tier taste in video games with those two classics, bro. Yeah, I love those. Those were... That Battlefront game was tough. And, you know, not just the mission, you know, not just playing the story mode, but, you know, playing with friends and stuff, where you guys could, you know, you could be on the same team. You have 4 people playing at once, you know, have, you know, and do those, the different, you could pick different planets from all the movies and things like that. You could go just, you know, first team to, what was it, what do you have to do? You used to have to go stand by the, damn, I'm trying to remember how they would say it. The clones would always say, a command post. We got another command post. So you'd have to go stand by the command post and, you know, let it take. Yeah, that shit was so fun. We stayed on that shit for hours. It was fun. Andre Ware said, for those who don't like the Ahsoka series, what is it that they are looking for? What would make them happy? Or are they just hating on Star Wars because it's Disney? You know, I think a lot of people that are not, for the people that aren't enjoying Ahsoka, it's those Star Wars fans that, actually, let me put it this way. I saw a reel from a Star Wars podcast where they were talking about how Star Wars is literally for everyone. There is a generation that Star Wars touches everyone, where whether you were around for the original series, or I'm sorry, original trilogy, or you're around for the prequel trilogy, where that's where, you know, that's, for me, that's my, you know, some people like to hate on the prequels. That's my favorite because that's what I was introduced to. I was introduced to the prequels first, then introduced to the original series or trilogy. And then you have the sequel, the sequel trilogy, to where there are a lot of people younger than our generation that grew up with the prequel trilogy, and especially younger than the generation that grew up with the original trilogy, that love the sequel trilogy, you know. And then you've got people that loves Clone Wars. You got people that didn't vibe with Clone Wars. You got people that loved Rebels. You got people that didn't vibe with Rebels and all that kind of stuff, you know. People that love Andor, people that didn't vibe with Andor, people that, you know. So Star Wars is for everyone, but I think the people that are hating on Ahsoka, it's because they don't want to let go of what they perceive to be their Star Wars, you know. Because, you know, there were people that were on Twitter saying, well, I know Dave's not trying to make Ahsoka the face of Star Wars. That belongs to Luke Skywalker. That belongs to Anakin Skywalker and things like that. It's not that he's trying to make Ahsoka the face of Star Wars, because I don't believe that Ahsoka is the face of Star Wars. But you don't understand it because if you don't see her as one of the faces of Star Wars. Ahsoka plays a major role in Star Wars. She's the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker. She's been there, you know, since right as the Clone Wars were beginning. You know, that's when she became Anakin's apprentice. So it's like she's not the face, but she is definitely one of the faces. And I also think that people hating on it, because I've seen this too, some people saying, well, why do I have to watch Rebels to understand this? Because Star Wars is poetry. That's from the maker. It's supposed to rhyme. Everything flows. So if you didn't watch the prequel trilogy, how would you understand? I mean, you can watch the original trilogy without watching the prequel trilogy. But there are in the original trilogy, they mention the Clone Wars. They mention how Vader was a Jedi before all of that. People wanted to see that. So what did George do? Went back and made the prequels. And it flows. It rhymes. It's supposed to connect. So yeah, in order to understand some of the things that are going on in Ahsoka, you gotta watch Rebels. And that's why I said I feel so sorry for people that, for all the people that said Rebels or Clone Wars is too kiddie of a show, or I don't like animated shows or whatever. I hate that you missed out on the full circle experience in episode 5 when we saw those Clone Wars flashbacks. Because I'm sure in your head you were probably thinking, because you didn't watch Clone Wars, well, when did we see the Siege of Mandalore, and when did we see all this? You know, we saw it, you didn't. Why? Because everything connects. You have to watch one thing to get the next thing when it comes to Star Wars. So I think that's a lot. I think that's what it is too. Like I said, I think it's just a lot of people not willing to let go of what they perceive as their version of Star Wars. Rhyme said exactly. There is no one face of Star Wars. No, there's not. There's not no one face of Star Wars at all. You know, some people might even argue, okay, well, Palpatine is the face of Star Wars. I mean, there's many. I mean, obviously you got the Skywalkers at the top because it's their family fucking up the galaxy. But you know, it's not just Luke and Anakin. Gray said Ahsoka knows Anakin better than Obi-Wan did, good and bad, and that's so true. That is so true. That's so true. I saw a reel the other day where somebody said they were talking about, and a friend of mine sent this to me actually, and he asked me my thoughts on it. He said the reel said that Obi-Wan is to blame for Anakin going to the dark side, because Obi-Wan was this and Obi-Wan was that, and he never even wanted him from the beginning. You know, there's that line that Obi-Wan says to Qui-Gon in the Phantom Menace after they pick up Anakin off Tatooine. He says, "Why do I feel like we just picked up another useless life form?" Comparing him to Jar Jar Binks. You know, and the only reason Obi-Wan, before I even get to that part, let's fast forward to the temple when the when the council told Qui-Gon he's too old. You know, we're not going to train the boy; he's not to be trained. And Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon were talking outside, and Obi-Wan said, you know, the council can sense that the boy is dangerous. Why can't you sense it? You know, if you would just listen to the council, you'd be on the council and things like that. Obi-Wan never wanted to train Anakin. He trained Anakin as the dying wish to his master. But if you read some of the comics that are, again, canon, not just the things that we're shown in the movies, they do form a relationship. There's even a time in one of the comics where Anakin is still young. He's still younger. He's not even. This is before Episode 2, where Anakin told Obi-Wan on one of their missions, "After this, I'm done. I'm walking away from the Jedi Order. I don't want to be a Jedi anymore." Because the things, how Ahsoka questioned and I know, I'm sorry, this is not supposed to be a Star Wars stream, but here the fuck we are. When Ahsoka and Obi-Wan were having the conversation that they were having in Season 7 of Clone Wars, when she came to ask them for help with the Siege of Mandalore, and Obi-Wan said, "I'll have to talk to the council about it." Then when he ran back in and said, you know, it was right as Episode 3 was happening. Palpatine had been kidnapped by Grievous and everything had been going on, blah, blah, blah. So he was like, we have to hurry back to Coruscant. The Chancellor's been kidnapped. And then she says, she asked him, she says, what about Mandalore? She's like, Ahsoka, the heart of the Republic has been attacked. The Republic needs us. And she said, no, the Chancellor needs you. She says, the people of Mandalore need you. And then he says, you know, that's not fair, and you know, she's like, I'm not trying to be, you know, so because Ahsoka found out early on, you know, we're supposed to help people. That's what the Jedi Order is supposed to be. We're supposed to be, as Mace Windu said in Episode 2, we're keepers of the peace, not soldiers. That's where the Jedi fucked up when they militarized themselves, you know, and not only that, you know, even in the lessons that she learned in episode 5, when she was asking Anakin, is that all I'm supposed to teach my Padawan how to do is fight? You know, Ahsoka gets it. And so it's not just that, you know. Let me see. Rhyme said, Darius, you took the words from my fingers. Palpatine is one of the main faces for me too. Yeah, him and Anakin / Darth Vader are the top two that initiate my nostalgia. Yeah, and that's very true. Like Palpatine, in my opinion, also beyond Star Wars, is one of the greatest cinematic villains of all time. Like, he's great. Ian McDiarmid does such a fantastic job portraying Sidious. Grace said, I just wish some of those themes were explored more in the film, but I know that they had to stick to the main story. Yeah, me too, I really do. And I agree with you, what you said up there earlier about Clone Wars and Rebels really saving the prequels, because that is damn true. You know, if you watching the Clone Wars series definitely adds so much more to when you go back and watch episodes 2 or episodes 3 or things like that. Yeah, it's for sure, it definitely adds to it. Definitely adds to it. Let's see. Omega Zero said, the reason I watched Rebels a lot since that scene of Ezra and Sabine meeting, love their relationship, but they end up with that sibling relationship. I'm okay with that. Yeah, it kind of threw me off the first time the first episode, I think, when she played that hologram up, that message of him, and he said, you know, you're like a sister to me. I was like, that wasn't the vibe of Rebels. They definitely were flirting a lot in Rebels, but hey, I'm okay with, like you said, I'm okay with it either way. Let's see. Meg also said, Darius, I was so excited when The Force Awakens trailer showed the Knights of Ren, and the rain shot alone stole my attention. I don't care about the old chips the fans freaked out in the end. Yeah. Force Awakens is one I can tolerate. I didn't hate Force Awakens. At the time when I left the theater, I was like, okay, you know. I was like, it was a new hope, but we're going somewhere. That's fine. So but now it's one of those things where it's just I can tolerate it. I think the biggest thing for the sequel trilogy that really pissed me off was just, you took Snoke, who you actually, I wonder if, would I get a copyright strike if I played this? Hold on. Yeah, this scene. This is bruh, I'm not a sequel trilogy fan at all. Like, at all. But this scene, I better not get copyright. This scene, this is a good scene.
Tied on a string indeed, General Hux. Well done. The Resistance will soon be in our grasp.
Thank you, Supreme Leader.
You wonder why I keep a rabbit cur in such a place of power. A cur's weakness, properly manipulated,
Bro,
can be a sharp.
I'm a villains type of guy. So they like when they really started expanding on Snoke, I was like, okay, all right. I'm like, I like this. I don't like all that extra shit going on around him, but I like this.
How's your wound?
It's nothing.
The mighty Kylo Ren. When I found you, I saw what all masters live to see. Raw, untamed power. And beyond that, something truly special. The potential of your bloodline. A new,
given everything I have to you. To the dark side.
Take that ridiculous thing off. There it is. You have too much of your father's heart in you, young son.
I killed Matsu. When the moment came, I didn't hesitate.
And look at you. The deed split your spirit to the bone. You were unbalanced, bested by a girl who had never held a lightsaber. You failed! Skywalker lives. The seed of the Jedi Order lives. As long as it does, hope lives in the galaxy. I thought you would be the one to snuff it out. Alas, you're no Vader. You're just a child. In a mask.
Yeah. That scene. That, like I said, I am not, and y'all know, I am not a sequel trilogy fan at all. But there are certain scenes that I do fuck with, and that is one of them. That scene is great. I loved that scene. And so that was one of my biggest problems with the sequel trilogy. It was like, damn, bro, you built up this dope ass villain like that, because like I said, that scene they established, like, to me, I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's getting established, because we in the Force Awakens we only saw him as the hologram, but then when we saw him in Last Jedi, I'm like, okay, we're establishing this dope ass villain. Especially when when he started talking to Kylo all crazy, talking about bested by a girl that never used a lightsaber, you failed and shocked the ground. I'm like, bro, that's some tough shit. That's tough. Just for him to 5 minutes later get killed with a lightsaber sitting next to him, that's some shit he couldn't sense. So I don't know. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Like, I was not a fan of that. I was not a fan of what they did with Snoke. And I didn't like the fact that they used Palpatine to dig themselves out of a hole that still didn't even work. So, like I said, not the biggest fan of the sequel trilogy. I don't know if I'm even... Well, I know I'm not hyped for whatever they're doing with 10, 11, and 12. I don't know. I'm not hyped for that. It is still going to follow Rey. And then, but maybe if Kathleen Kennedy is gone, because I want to, especially where Star Wars is right now with Ahsoka, I want to stay positive. I don't want to be woe is me Star Wars. We all know the problem, and the problem is Kathleen Kennedy. Maybe if it happens and they do get Kathleen Kennedy out before we start doing anything for 10, 11, and 12, maybe it's a direction that could be better. When you have knowledgeable people around the set like Dave Filoni that can help you with lore, that can help you with what makes sense, that can help you understand these characters. And, well, no, this character wouldn't do this, or no, this character would do that. That was one of Mark Hamill's biggest complaints, was, my Luke Skywalker wouldn't do this, Luke wouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. So having certain knowledgeable people around the writing, around the set production, around all of that, I think would be great. Now, again, in order for any of that to happen, KK's got to be gone. KK has to be gone. And some people might even make the argument, well, make it make sense because she's there now and Ahsoka's good. Yes, that's true. But where it makes sense is Dave Filoni. Dave, this is from day one, and I talked about this last night, and I will show one of these. I'll show that. Actually, I think it's on here. This. Where is it? You guys remember those Dave Filoni sketches that he did of Ahsoka coming out of the world? But here they are. These right here. All right. Sure. Damn, hold on guys. Sorry. Here they are. Alright, these right here. When Dave put these out, he did this way before, and there's more pictures. These are the only two on here. But he did this way before the Ahsoka show. This was done around the time of Twilight of the Apprentice episode in Rebels, where Ahsoka fights Vader in the Sith Temple. Because at that time, they didn't know if they were going to show Ahsoka coming out of the world between worlds, blah 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 blah. So I showed that to say this. This scene right here, this has been planned since Rebels. And it got its payoff in Ahsoka's episode 4 and 5, when Ahsoka wakes up in the world between worlds after being in the water. It got its payoff there. Dave has been planning all of this from day one. So when you have somebody that understands the lore, that understands the characters, that understands the franchise, and you put them around 10, 11, and 12 and let them have full autonomy like that, that is why the Ahsoka show is the way that it is. Yes, KK is still in charge over there, but Dave's been planning this since 2013, 2014. Some people might even argue 08, because the character wasn't created in 08. This is also from Dave, if for people that may not know. This young Jedi right here. Hold on. Let me pull her up. This young Jedi right here. Originally, this was going to be Ahsoka. For those that don't know, originally, this was Ahsoka in episode 3. But the reason this was scrapped was because George and Dave felt it was way too early to introduce Ahsoka. Not only that, the timeline didn't fit. She was the math wasn't mathin'. She was much too young at the time, and at the time of the Clone Wars where Anakin was, because I believe Anakin's like 20 something in Revenge, and Ahsoka's like 19, something like that. She's I forgot that somebody put out the ages. They put out the ages of what they were in those Clone Wars flashbacks, but I forgot what it was. But so Ahsoka's been on the table, bruh. This ain't like, oh, Dave is... No, this has been in the making. Remember, episode 3 came out in 05. 05. Ahsoka's been in the making. This has been something that Dave has been trying to do for the longest time. So, all the things happening in her show, all the things that's going to happen in Heir to the Empire, the film, I'm telling you, if we can continue that direction, if I don't know if they're waiting to put the keys in Dave's hands for him to prove himself. I mean, I feel like he's already proven himself with Rebels. I feel he proved himself with Clone Wars. But maybe they felt, nah, you proved yourself with animation. We need you to step into live action. For me personally, and yes, Dave's done other live action things for Star Wars, in Mandalorian and also in Book of Boba Fett, but he's not been able to write an entire show himself. He's helped on those shows, he's helped on those episodes, but he's not written an entire show by himself. This is his baby. He wrote this. And again, I would argue it's been planned since 2013, because again, that the things that the picture I just showed. Like, there's other pictures to this. This again, these are the only two on here, but there's other pictures to this. Like, this has been planned, bro. This has been planned. So, in order for, in my opinion, in order for 10, 11, and 12 to even work right, you got to get somebody on it that gives a damn and knows the lore in general. Got to know it. Let me read some real quick. Raptor Cloak said, the clip of Oscar Isaac saying Palpatine somehow returned was all I needed to know not to tune in to Rise of Skywalker. Gray said, I just wished that Finn was level 60 with 2 playthrough like Rey, Kylo, and Poe was, right? He slept the entire episode 8. Justin said, Ahsoka is what Star Wars should have been after the OG trilogy instead of what we got for the sequels. And that is, I agree. It just, as a Star Wars fan, does this not just feel like Star Wars? Does Ahsoka not just feel like even the most recent episode, that felt, I watched it again. I watched it again because it's so dope. I really love episode 5, but I might like this episode more, which is crazy because of the Clone Wars flashbacks, because of Hayden, all of that. But this episode, it's different because it's expanding on the lore of Star Wars. It's expanding, I've seen some people making complaints about, like, when has magic ever been in Star Wars? Again, you don't know Star Wars then. Magic has always been a part of Star Wars. Palpatine uses magic. There's episodes in Clone Wars of Palpatine using Sith magic when he was trying to get into Yoda's dreams and things like that. There's even when he was trying to enter the world between worlds, in order for him just to get his hand in the world between worlds, he had to use magic. Palpatine doesn't know how to get in the world between worlds. He's trying to figure that out. In Rebels, at least, he's trying to figure that out. So it's like, magic has always been a part of Star Wars. This is not new. This is not new territory for Star Wars. It might be new. It's new. And again, this is why I love Dave, because Dave is pushing the envelope. This is not something we've ever seen in live action Star Wars. We've not seen them use magic in live action Star Wars. But Dave is that guy to step in and push that live action envelope, to show us, hey, we can get crazy with this because it is crazy. This is fake. This is fantasy. This is high fantasy sci-fi. Star Wars was never meant to play safe. Back when George first wrote this, he took it to company after company after company after company that denied him and said, no, this sounds crazy. What? Cowboys in space? Nobody's gonna watch this. And then what happened, bro? Great. It was well received is not even correct verbiage for it at all. It's one of the greatest trilogies ever told. One of the greatest sagas ever told. Period. And it's like, George taking that on all the way, taking that to all those different companies to where he finally got his shot with Fox, and you got what you got. Like, it's Star Wars. And this just feels like Star Wars. It was never supposed to play safe. That's why George was denied, because they wanted him to play safe. And he's like, no, I'm not going to rewrite or diminish what my brilliant idea, because you guys want to play safe. So, when you got people saying, well, that's not Star Wars, that doesn't, no, this feels like Star Wars. This feels like Star Wars. So I'm here for it, and I love every bit of it. I rest in peace, Ray Stevens. It's sad because he is doing a hell of a job as Balin, and I mean a hell of a job. It's not just the dialogue. It's his body language, his mannerisms, his facial expressions, the things that, when he was talking to Shin in this last episode and was telling her, the power that Thrawn's seeking, that's fleeting power. What we're after is much greater. And I want to, again, I said this last night, I didn't really expand on it, but the Yustang Vaughn. The Yustang Vaughn were going, let me prove that, because I said this last night and I know nobody went and looked it up, so I'll show you myself. The Yustang Vaughn were going to show up in Clone Wars, the animated series. But George and Dave felt too early. Not right now. Now this is the sketch of it. Here we are. This is the sketch here. The Yustan Vaughn were going to show up in Clone Wars. They were going to be the outside, unknown threat to show up in Clone Wars. Now, let's talk a little Thrawn. Why is Thrawn here in the first place? Thrawn is here because, well, he came to the Empire because the Chiss Ascendancy were afraid of an unknown threat and they wanted an ally. So they sent Thrawn, who was already, exiled. Thrawn found himself faked his exile, found himself into the Empire, rose himself to be Grand Admiral Thrawn, and, blah, blah, blah. But that unknown threat, was it the Yustan Vaughn? Was it the Rakatan Empire? What was it? You know what I'm saying? So, and I've seen some people making comparisons to the creatures or the aliens that surrounded Sabine and the little wolf, making comparisons to them being the Rakatan Empire, because it does kind of look like the Rakatan Empire, like the Rakatans. The Rakat, and the reason I'm bringing all this up is because Baylan keeps saying something's calling to him. He hears a dark power, or not dark power, a higher power calling to him. The Rakatans are force sensitive. They were taught the light side and the dark side, but they liked the dark side more. So, what's calling to Baylan? Is it the Rakatan Empire? Because we are in the unknown regions, and that is where the Yustan Vaughn and the Rakatan Empire come from, the unknown regions. Now, they're not calling it the unknown regions in Ahsoka. They're calling it, what are they calling it? Unknown space or whatever. In Legends, it is called the unknown regions. And, with us being in the unknown regions and things like that, why, if you, even this, look at the Night Sisters planet. It looks like it's been decimated. It looks like it's been through hell, like it's been through a siege. Why are the Night Sisters and Thrawn wanting to get the fuck off that planet so bad? Why would the Night Sisters want to leave their home world so bad? What is the threat that's out there that is scaring them? It's got to be something bigger. And I wouldn't even say Thrawn is scared. What I would say Thrawn is he knows if he can just get back and get the whole Empire back to where, he being the heir to the Empire and getting that whole thing back and restoring Palpatine, because that's the whole goal too, to restore Palpatine back to, because the cloning thing, that's all going on right now. Trying to clone Palpatine so he can transfer his essence into his new body and all that kind of stuff. So if he can get back, he can take down, because he's still got the Chiss Ascendancy. What's his guy's name? The dude, his right hand. God, I always forget his name. Gray, I think you remembered it the last time. His right hand that he sent to join the Chiss and I think he rose Vanto, Eli Vanto. Is that him? I think that's who I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's his name, isn't it? He's got that comic, though, everything I'm talking about is coming from the Thrawn comics. That is canon. It is canon to the current story being told in Star Wars. Because the moment the comic ends, because it's a pretty long comic, there's several issues to it. But when it ends, that comic, where it ends, picks up where he shows up in Rebels. It picks up right there. So it's canon to the current story being told in Star Wars. So Vanto, he sent him back to his homeworld, where the Chiss Ascendancy is from, to be the first human in the ranks of the Chiss Ascendancy and rise to the ranks. So he still has, he's probably still talking with Vanto. He's probably still talking with the Chiss Ascendancy. And if he can get that Empire army mixed in with the Chiss Ascendancy army, the Yustan, bro, I don't know what Dave's building to exactly, but you're mixing, he's titling it heir to the Empire. I don't know anymore that it's strictly going to be, even just adapting. I think he's adapting elements of Heir to the Empire, but I think they're doing more. I think this war we're going to see before the events of the sequel trilogy, I think it's going to involve. I really do. I think it's going to involve the Yuuzhan Vong or the Rakatan Empire. And I could just be overdoing it as a Star Wars fan. I could be like saying, going too deep into the lore. They might never do this. I don't know. But this, for me, this right here, this sketch from Dave Filoni wanting the Vong to be in Clone Wars, I think that speaks volumes because it goes back to what I was just saying here and here. Dave doesn't plan anything without having it have its own payoff. All right? So I believe that all this shit is going to happen, bro. I believe it is. And I think the Ahsoka series, the one thing we knew from the leaks was that, and I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody, but these coming episodes are about to get crazy. What did Thrawn say? What's the last thing he said to the Night Sisters? Great mothers, I must come to you once again for your help in your dark magics. Yeah. He's got to use magic. He's got to use that dark magic. I'm telling you, bro. It's some dope shit. It's some dope shit. I have not been this excited and talked this much speculation about Star Wars probably since season 7 of Clone Wars. And there was no because we all knew where that was going. It was just amazing to see that stuff. It was amazing to see Ahsoka's point of view of Order 66. It was amazing to see Maul talk about Order 66 the way he talked about Order 66. That is some dope material, bro. That is some dope material. When he talks to Ahsoka, when they first met.
War.
Because he knew the whole time.
Tano, is it? I can't say yours is a name familiar to me.
Well, I know you.
Yes, I imagine we have several mutual friends.
I wouldn't put it that way.
Of course not. But I'm afraid your way of thinking is behind the times.
It's her. Come on, we'll trace the signal.
I was certain that Kenobi would have come himself. Perhaps bring his loyal foe, Skywalker, is it?
Master Kenobi had a more important engagement.
Indeed. I wonder. The moment may be upon us. Why you? Why did Kenobi send you?
Why don't you surrender, and then we can both go and ask him.
My surrendering.
Yeah. That whole conversation. When he says, if from there he says, if I'm not mistaken, by my calculations, the Jedi nor the Republic will no longer be the controlling interest in the galaxy. And she says, who will be? You? And he's like, no, Darth Sidious. So Maul knew. Like I just said, I haven't felt like this since Clone Wars, bro. Like, and I am. It is a good time to be a Star Wars fan. It feels so good to be a Star Wars fan right now. It really, really does. Let's see. B. Smith said, with Dave Filoni at the helm, it is limitless. Agreed, Darius. Balin steals every scene. He really does, bro. He steals every scene he's in. Like Rey is, and I'm assuming, obviously they didn't know. No one was expecting that for Rey's passing. So if the character survives the show, and I believe he does, but if the character survives the show, they got some big shoes to fill. Because if the character survives the show and goes to move on to be an heir of the Empire, the film, we're going to have a different person playing Balin. They're going to have some big shoes to fill because he is killing it. Omega Zero said, Darius, Mark mentioned that he asked JJ for a reunion scene for Leia, Luke, and Han together, but he didn't want to. Instead, he made Han a smuggler again, broke up with Leia. Yeah. That's the thing. You took that's one of another complaint I have for the sequels. You took your heroes that we all love. We all love them from the original trilogy and everything like that. Those are your heroes of the story. And then you just you scattered them. You made them. That's not in Legends. That's not how it happened. That's not how it happened at all. Ben Solo is Ben Skywalker. That Mara Jade and Luke's son. It's very different, and I wish they would have stuck to. And tell me in the chat, and I might show this if you guys haven't seen it. George's original plan, the concept art for the original plan, what episode 9 was supposed to be. Have you guys seen that concept art? If you haven't, I'll show it. But because that shit, we were robbed. We were robbed. The original villain was not Snoke. Palpatine was nowhere in sight. What George wanted, George's pitch to Disney, what he wanted before he sold it, it was Maul. Maul was the original villain. So instead, since they didn't let him bring him back in the movies like he wanted, he brought him back in Clone Wars. That's why Maul came back in Clone Wars. Because he wasn't allowed, because they fucked him over. It was Maul was the original villain, and his apprentice was going to be Maul's apprentice was going to be Darth Talon. Talon was going to be his apprentice. There's concept art of all of this, bro. There's concept art of all of this. There's a script. We were robbed. Instead, we got some nobody named Rey. Now, let me not go off of my sequel trilogy lovers. We were robbed. Let's see. And if you guys haven't seen it, I will show it. Xavier says, so much love and world building going on. I love the most recent episode. Yep. Or lore, sorry. Lore, yeah, for sure. Gray said, damn, where's D Sizzle? I know, where is he at, bro? Like, he's missing the Star Wars talk. Josiah said, Dave Filoni knows this stuff, and with him at the helm, I don't have to worry about Star Wars missteps. Yeah, that's true, bro. We don't have to worry. Like, Dave is on it. He's on it. Justin said, I really want the used Tangbon to be canon. So do I. So bad. Their culture, look, and lore are all interesting. They look terrifying and would be an extremely dangerous threat. Yeah, bro. The Yuuzhan Vong hate technology. They don't use technology. They're not a technology using race, but they're dangerous, bro. Like, they are. We'll have to get into the Yuuzhan Vong sometime, because that's a whole nother sector story. Like, to get into how the Rakatan Empire learned the Force, and to get into the Rakatan Empire's rivalry with that's a whole thing. We'll have to talk about that. Xavier said it's game on when the Yuuzhan Vong show up. I think that's where we're going to, Darius. Yeah, I think so too. I really do. He also said, I'm sure I'll be happy with whatever Filoni has cooked for us. Yeah. Either way, even if the Yuuzhan Vong don't show up, I'll be happy with whatever he has. That's just my speculation. I just think that's where it's going. Gray said he's going to bring back everybody if he does that. Luke, Leia, Han, Lando, Chewie. Mega said, bring in the Yuuzhan Vong, shows how Dave Filoni loves Lucas' legacy, and not like J.J. Abrams, who proceeded to copy A New Hope and create a new Rebel-verse empire all over again. Yeah. Gray said this crew plus the OG crew will be fire. Yeah. Rhyme said Maul and his obsession with Obi-Wan. Bro, I'm telling you, me too, bro. Me too. It's funny stuff. I'm just thinking to myself, every Maul finds, no matter what's going on, it can Obi-Wan, it doesn't even have to do anything with Obi-Wan. He will find a way to make it about Obi-Wan. Every single time. That shit is funny. Yeah, that's very true. Gray said they turned Maul into a thespian. We've got Gray that also said the fool went from twirling lightsabers to yelling. I studied at Cambridge. Let's see. Xavier said, now I'm heated just thinking about what we didn't get. I'm telling you, bro, it's terrible. Beastmas said, never saw the concept art, but I heard him explaining his pitch and it would have been spectacular spectacle. Yeah, bro, I'll show you guys the concept art. Dexter said that would have been cool. Yeah. I'll show you guys the concept art. Shit's dope. Shit's dope. Sucks that we didn't get it. Yeah, here it is. All right. They even had Rey looking dope, bro. So we got Rey. Let me see if I can get all the pictures here. The battle was going to take place over Coruscant, for those that didn't know. The battle was going to take place over Coruscant. I think they actually have the here. We learned the full story, blah, 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 blah. The concept art comes from... blah, blah, blah. Okay, the first piece pictures above shows Rey with her new double-bladed lightsaber on the bridge of a Star Destroyer. This is likely based on the Resistance heroes' escape from the whatever ship they were on. That was to open the movie. Rey's outfit here is very different from what she wore in The Rise of Skywalker. Instead of it was heavily influenced by Luke's look in Return of the Jedi. This is the next image shows occupied Coruscant, the skyline of the city, planet. Oh, I thought they were going to explain the story, because there's a story line to everything also. But this, yeah, the battle was going to take place over Coruscant. Coruscant was going to get destroyed and attacked and all that kind of stuff. Phasma was actually going to, like, this that imagery right there. That's dope. Like, yeah, bro, that's dope. Phasma was actually going to do something and not just be a toy to sell. How do you get that to go away? Okay. They even had the Zepho. We were going to see the Zepho. Yeah, bro. And you know what? I've even seen some theories out there about the Zepho. I don't think they're showing up in Ahsoka, but I've seen some things about theories out there with them in Ahsoka, but I don't think they're showing up in Ahsoka. This is a decimated Coruscant here. You've got what looks like Kylo Ren was going to confront his own version of the Dagobah Cave and duel, Vader and all that kind of stuff. Like, we were supposed to see that. Just more pictures from the galaxy. I don't know if there were any concepts with Talon and Maul in them, though. I don't believe so. Yeah. It was going to be a very different film. It was going to be a very different film. Let me see if I can find that with Darth Talon in. Okay, this is what George Lucas said. So Lucas said, this was back in 2020, Darth Maul trained a girl, Darth Talon, who was in the comic books as his apprentice. She was the new Darth Vader, and most of the action was with her. So there were the two main villains of the trilogy. They were the two main villains of the trilogy. Maul eventually becomes the godfather of the crime in the universe because as the Empire falls, he takes over. That's what George wanted. That's what George wanted. George didn't want what we got. His pitch was always Maul. From the beginning. It was Maul and Talon from the beginning. That's what George wanted. That would have been dope. It would have been dope to have seen those two be the two main villains of the sequel trilogy. Would have been dope. Would have been dope. Yeah. I'll show one more thing here too. For Dave. Well, on Dave. Let me see. Have people seen? I'm sure everybody has seen this. I'm sure everyone has seen this. This right here is one of my favorites.
The prequels I thought were almost an impossible task. How do you tell the story that we've all grown up with imagining who Anakin Skywalker was? You saw so many things in Phantom Menace that you just imagined, like the Jedi Council, and none of it really was what I had expected. But I know now that that's just like how creative George is. Like, he just sees it differently, and he's laying it down. And I love the lightsaber fight with Darth Maul, not because it's a lightsaber fight, but because George is so good at crafting why that fight's important every time. Like, you know, the Obi-Wan Darth Vader fight isn't like the most wonderfully staged necessarily combat that you're ever going to see, but there's so much at stake. It's so meaningful when Obi-Wan dies that we all feel like Luke. In Phantom Menace, you're watching these two Jedi in their prime fight this evil villain. Maul couldn't be more obviously the villain. He's designed to look evil, and he is evil, and he just expresses that from his face all the way out to the type of lightsaber he fights with. What's at stake is really how Anakin's going to turn out, because Qui-Gon is different than the rest of the Jedi, and you get that in the movie, and Qui-Gon is fighting because he knows he's the father that Anakin needs, because Qui-Gon hasn't given up on the fact that Jedi are supposed to actually care and love, and that's not a bad thing. The rest of the Jedi are so detached, and they've become so political that they've really lost their way. And Yoda starts to see that in the second film. But Qui-Gon is ahead of them all. And that's why he's not part of the council. So he's fighting for Anakin. And that's why it's the duel of the fates. It's the fate of this child. And depending on how this fight goes, Anakin is his life's gonna be dramatically different. So Qui-Gon loses, of course. So the father figure, because he knew what it meant to take this kid away from his mother when he had an attachment, and he's left with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan trains Anakin at first out of a promise he makes to Qui-Gon, not because he cares about him. When they get Anakin, when they find him on Tatooine, he says, why do I feel like we've found another useless life form? He's comparing Anakin to Jar Jar.
Excuse me.
And he's saying, this is a waste of our time. Why are we doing this? Why do you see importance in these creatures like Jar Jar Binks and this 10-year-old boy? This is useless. So he's a brother to Anakin eventually, but he's not a father figure. That's a failing for Anakin. He doesn't have the family that he needs. He loses his mother in the next film. He fails on this promise that he made to Mother, I will come back and save you. So he's left completely vulnerable. And Star Wars ultimately is about family. So that moment in that movie, which a lot of people I think diminish into just a cool lightsaber fight, but it's everything that the entire 3 films of the prequels hangs on, is that one particular fight. And Maul serves his purpose, and at that point died before George may bring him back. But he died, and that's showing you again how the Emperor is completely self-serving. He doesn't care, he's just a tool, and he's using people. And now he's going to use this child. That follows all the way through to the line which terrified me as a kid when the Emperor tells Luke, you, like your father, are now mine. And the idea when I was a little kid watching that movie of some evil person possessing my father, making him do things or making him be evil was terrifying. That was like thought that was horrible. Also, it's amazing when you watch Return of the Jedi that Luke has never done anything that I would call it like he's a bad character. He has like a tendency to be dark, and a lot of people wanted Anakin, oh, he should have been darker as a character. It's not true at all. I believed Luke would turn to the dark side in Return of the Jedi. I believe that was on the table. I believe that he would kill the Emperor, and because of the way George arranged the story, I knew that was the wrong thing to do. When he's saying, you know, you want your weapon, you know, strike me down, I'm defenseless. He wants him to give into his anger. He wants him to give into his hate. And the fear, the structure that George has laid out in all the movies is coming to fruition now. And the only thing that's going to save him is not his connection to the Force. It's not the powers he's learned. It's not all these things that are an advantage to him. That's gotten him to the table.
Love Dave.
But what saves Luke is his ability to look at all that and look at his father and say, no, I'm going to throw away this weapon. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let that go and be selfless. And he says, you know, I am a Jedi like my father before me. But what he's really saying, and why I connect so powerfully to it, is like he's saying, I love my father, and there's nothing you can do that's going to change that. And the Emperor can't understand that connection. Why wouldn't you take some after the power of the galaxy? Why won't you take this? And Anakin then in that moment has to decide to be the father that he's never had. He has to give up all the power of the galaxy and save his son. And that's the selfless act that he does in return for his son. And that's what saves him in turn. So the son said the father said the son. And it works out perfectly. And I draw that line all the way from Phantom Menace to Jedi. That's the story of Star Wars.
So when he pops
Everything
the
else,
helmet, you're saying when he pops the helmet off in that moment was part of the
it's
fated arc.
It's all part of the fated arc. It's all part of like why it works and why we care. It's not about X-Wings. It's not about all the things we decorate Star Wars in. It's important. It's part of the genius of it. But we soulfully react like we don't just want an action movie. We want to feel uplifted. And
Right.
Star Wars is an adventure that makes you feel good.
Right.
You know, it makes me feel like, wow, I want to be a part of that. So that's what I always go back to with Star Wars, is this selfless act and this family dynamic, which is so important to George, so important to the foundation of Star Wars. That's in us, and what I like about it is it is really saying there is a lot of hope out there, that we fundamentally want to be good people, that we can all be driven to do terrible things, but that we can persevere through selfless action. So George has this hopeful story, and it's something that he's reiterated most times I've seen him, you know, after we've been making things without him, is remember to make these stories hopeful. Remember to give that to kids because they really need it. And so that's just something to keep in mind.
Man, I'm telling you, I love George. I love George. Love him. Or Dave, sorry. Dave gets it. He gets it because he was tutored by George. He's George's right hand, so he gets it. And just that whole, I love that. I've watched that often, honestly. It's great. I remember the very first time I saw that when they released that episode after Mandalorian, and I was like, man, that I'd never heard it put that way. I had never heard it put that way, and to hear it put that way, it's different. Like it, as a Star Wars fan, it gives you like chills, bro. Thinking about just like what he said. That's all of it. It's all true. It's all true. You know, it's that's why you got to put the keys in this man's hands. Let's see. Grace said still the best fight. Yeah, it was a really good fight. Chill said KK listened to this and then said we need a Rey movie. Right. Dorian said, what's up, good people? Appreciate you being here, Dorian. Omega said, I want Planet Fanatics to make a collab with Star Wars Theory and Den of Nerds. I would love to talk Star Wars with... I want to do my own thing like that, you know. One time I had to talk to Chill about it a while ago. It was a while ago when I wanted to do the whole Star Wars streams and things like that. At that time, really, there was nothing to really get excited about because I felt like when I was discussing Star Wars, it was negative. It was always negative. But I feel like I am mentally with Star Wars in a better place than I was then. I would love to still do that. I would love to get with Scotty, and I would love to get with others and do, you know, weekly Star Wars streams. It doesn't have to be about whatever show is out or anything. I mean, the next show we've got coming out is Acolyte. But it doesn't have to be about whatever show. It could just be talking lore. It could be talking theories. It could be talking where do we think Heir of the Empire is going to go. Things like that, because I actually do want to do that because I have something to be excited about, and it is Heir of the Empire. It is Dave's film. So, and I'm hopefully optimistic about Acolyte. From what we've seen from the BTS photos and things like that, it looks nice. It looks cool. From what we've even heard about the overall storyline, you got Daphne Keane playing the Sith in it and everything. Like it looks like it's going to be dope. We just need it to be dope. That's it. We just need it to be dope. I would love for right after Ahsoka for Acolyte to come out and follow that same wave of, just anticipation week after week after week of the next episode, so that would be really dope to see also. We've got Gray that said KK saw this and cut the hate up to 11. Gray also said he sold me on the prequels the first time I saw this. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, when he said that the first time, I was like, wow, I've never heard it put like that, and it was brilliantly said. Xavier said, I wish I could help KK pack up her office. Boy, me too. You ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the fuck out of here. You can't stay. Lights is going off. You gotta go home. Omega said, I write this again. Filoni making Ezra and Sabine child for a new generation after Skywalker if he's in charge of sequels. Well, we all know where this is going. This still has to feed into the sequel trilogy. It still has to feed into, Luke. Because right now, what do we know Luke is doing? We saw this in Book of Boba Fett. Luke is building the new Jedi Order and everything like that. We've seen Force-sensitive young Jason. So Jason Jarrus, or is his last name Jarrus or Doom? What's Jason's last name? Whatever. Hera and Kanan's son. We've seen young Jason. We've seen, for those of you, I don't know if everybody has read Kylo's comic that is again canon to the timeline. Kylo's comics and everything like that, where he first meets Snoke, and then you even see the fights. You see him take down all the Jedi that Luke had a part of his order. So knowing that this is all going there, and seeing that Jason may be potentially trained at some point, maybe even join up with Luke and be trained. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm speculating shit. I don't know. They all have to die still, because Ben still has to take out the Syndulla. That's right, Syndulla, Jason Syndulla. Ben still got to take out the new Jedi Order and everything like that, and this is all, everything we're doing, it still just builds to the sequel trilogy, but maybe it'll make this journey and these new missing pieces from the sequel trilogy puzzle added to it. Maybe that will make it a bit more bearable, and maybe bearable is too harsh of a word. Maybe that'll make it, I don't know, to where I actually want to watch the shit. I don't know, but maybe. I don't know, but it's still all leading there. So we've got Blues House that said, if you do decide to do a weekly stream on Star Wars Inbound, love to be oh yeah bro, I'll definitely get with you. I'll get with you for sure. Feels good to finally have some good things to talk. Yes, man. And I'm sorry, guys, for people that have been coming in and out. I'm sorry, this was not meant to be a Star Wars stream. But again, it feels good to be able to talk about Star Wars, and when talking about it in a good way, you go off on tangents, and yeah, man, it's producer Henry and I, we've been friends since elementary, and I want to say that's really where Henry and I became really good friends. when I found out he loved Star Wars, and then when he found out I loved Star Wars, that's where our friendship really turned into like, wow, because we were doing Star Wars every day. Like Henry's got a storage. And I'll have to pull up a picture at some time and show you guys. I have a picture. I have to find it. It's somewhere on my phone. Birthdays, Christmas, we were getting Star Wars Lego, Star Wars. Henry wasn't a big action figure person. I was. I played with, action figures, superhero action figures, Star Wars action figures, all that. Star Wars Legos also. But Henry and I played Star Wars Legos a lot. Like, it was an everyday thing. Like, it was an everyday thing, bro, to where we left that day, we picked up that with the story the next day with our Legos. Like, it was real. It was real. Like, it was a real thing. And so, we had so many Star Wars Legos. So many, bro. And so we were playing all the time, and then I was playing with my action figures all the time. So the love for Star Wars, it started there. And, it didn't start there. That's where Henry and I bonded. And then when in 2020, when we were talking, after watching Clone Wars Season 7 and watching some, like, YouTubers like Josh over at Dinner Nerds and Star Wars Theory and some other Star Wars YouTubers talk about Season 7 Clone Wars and their knowledge on it and things like that, Henry and I were like, bro, we know Star Wars too. Like, we could realistically, we could do this. And I wish I would have been in the mental state enough in 2020, and not that I was in a bad mental state, I just wasn't I wanted to do it, but at that time it was just an idea. Like, I didn't have the desire and drive to really say, okay, let's start buying all this equipment we need. Let's set up a studio. Let's do this. I wasn't there. But the idea was appealing. So, like, I wish I would have been in that. I wish the idea that drive would have been there in 2020, though, because I would have loved to have come in hot on Star Wars, to have to have been able to talk about Season 7 Clone Wars when it was going on and things like that. Yeah, bro, it was a different time. It was a different time. So just being able to talk about Star Wars in a good way like this, it means it means a lot to me. It really does. Like, it really does. It really does. I had a Star Wars party, bro. As a matter of fact, I have footage of that shit. I will show that too. I will show that too. Before the next live, and trust me, I won't forget because it's Star Wars. Before the next live, I will get that on the computer and I will show you. So 5th grade, obviously, Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005. I was in 5th grade, and my mom allowed for me to plan a huge Star Wars, because we moved into the home that I eventually grew up in, and it was not in the school district that I was going to, so I had to move to a different school. And so my friends, I made friends at this new school, but I had, of course, all my old friends from my old school. So my mom allowed me to do a big end of the school year party, and she let me do the theme and everything I wanted to do. And of course, I made the theme Star Wars, and it was a Star Wars party. You had to come in a costume, you had to be dressed up. We all had our lightsabers or guns, whatever you were. We were outside and playing we had a huge backyard, playing in the backyard and everything like that, bro. It was dope. Like, one of my friends came dressed as Queen Amidala, and I think she won the costume. Like, I'm talking Queen Amidala episode 1, the red dress, the Naboo dress. Yeah, she had that, and it was on point, like a replica of the fucking shit. Like, it was good. And I was Vader. At that time I had the Vader voice changer that had come out, where you put you could press the buttons and you could sound like Vader. It was such a different time, bro. Fun time. And then Henry and I bonded there, so it was just I'll show that too. I'll try to get that so you guys can see that. There's a point in the video where one of my friends runs up. There was a lot of kids there, but one of my friends runs up and told my mom, who was inside, but the camera, she left the camera out on the back deck and just let the camera just record everything. So he runs up to her, and you hear him say in the video, Miss Dee Dee, it's not fair. There's too many people on the dark side. And my mom, knowing nothing about Star Wars, Dark Side. I need everybody that's Dark Side to come over here. And I was like, what the because me and Henry rewatched this. When did we rewatch it? That was like maybe 2 years ago when we found the video and we rewatched it, bro. That was so funny. Y'all got to see it. It was so funny. Let's see who said something. We got Dorian that said, wasn't there already a Mandalore Jedi? I think he was the creator of the Dark Saber. Mandalore. That was his name, Mandalore. Mandalore was the very first and only, at the time, Mandalorian Jedi who had a seat on the council. But yes, and he did also create the Darksaber. We've got Chill that said, non-YouTubers don't understand what you mean by the right mental state. You gotta be in the right mood when you hit. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That is very true. That is very true. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say there are some days where I lean on Corey and Q to, you know, take over or to do more majority of the talking. Yeah, I do lead a lot. I lead the topics and things like that, but I lean on them because there are some days where I'm like, you know, I'm not feeling these topics, or there's not really anything to talk about or whatever, but I like hanging out with the chat and hanging out with you guys and things like that. But it is a you got to be in that, like he said, like Chill said, you have to be in the right mood. You have to be in the right mental state when you hit record. To be able to come on here, because it's not, and I've talked about this, not on the channel, but, you know, with friends. When I come on, I'm being authentically me. Like, this is not a facade. This is not fake up here. But at the same time, this is a show. And you guys, which I appreciate so very much, come in, you know, week after week and hang out with me and watch and things like that. But I'm also here to be the host, and as the host, that is my job to entertain. It is my job to keep you guys engaged. It is my job to keep you guys wanting to come back each week, and, you know, you guys getting able to know me, getting able to know Q and Corey and things like that. So yeah, no, it's a thing where when you get on here, you want to make it the best experience for the viewers as possible. So yeah, and that takes the right mental space. That definitely takes the right mental space. Let's see. B said Tar Vizsla was the name of the Mandalorian leader who initially wielded the Darksaber. Yeah, that's true too. It's very true. Omega said, Darius, imagine if Knights of Ren were also those who were born Force sensitive, and Mandalorian marriage that would have explained why some of the knights using different melee weapons. Yeah, the Knights of Ren were really disappointing in the entire sequel trilogy. You know, there's in the original trailer for Episode 9, they show it as if they show that scene where Kylo's fighting the Knights of Ren, were as if like we were about to actually see them. So I remember seeing that in the trailer, and I was like, oh, okay, that's hype. That's hype. I want to see that. But then we got the scene we got. But yeah, I agree. The Knights of Ren, super dope. In the right media, super dope, especially in the comics. So I would have loved to have seen them done right on screen. Omega also said, man, Ezra and Sabine's son as the first Jedi Mandalore under Luke's order. Oh yeah, and I forget Grogu too. Grogu's got to die too, maybe. I feel like he escaped one purge. Will he escape another? I don't know. Because, you know, he's going to be a part of Luke's, I'm assuming he's going to be a part of Luke's order. I don't know. I don't even know what they're doing with Grogu anymore. Like, I have no idea with that one. Let's see. What else do we got? So I do have those two other topics, but since the stream has completely gone far, far away, I'm going to save these two topics for when these two are back, so we can talk about it with them too. And again, it's just I'll save one. I'll save one of them. Because I still wanna watch the creator trailer. Yeah, I still want to watch the creator trailer. So I'll save the Spider-Man news, but we'll do the creator trailer because I still want to see the final trailer to it. So we'll look at the reviews too. So the first reviews have come out for The Creator. The film starring John David Washington. I first saw that trailer when we went and saw The Flush, and when I saw it, I was like, man, this looks dope. I was like, this looks really, really dope. And I remember showing it to people at work too. I was like, bro, look at this. This looks like it's going to be a really good movie. And I know Q and I both looked at each other when we were watching the trailer, and said, oh yeah, we're going to go see this. So it does look good. And reviews for it have been really good. People are calling it, one of the best sci-fi films, or could be one of the best films of the year, calling it some of the best sci-fi of all time, visually phenomenal, and a lot more. But let's watch the trailer really quick. This is the final trailer. The film comes out on the 28th, I believe. So we'll watch this, and then we'll see what the first reactions were saying.
What's heaven?
It's a peaceful place in the sky.
Are you going to heaven?
No. You gotta be a good person to go to heaven.
Then we're the same. We can't go to heaven because you're not good. And I'm not a person. They're coming to get me.
I'm like a bodyguard. I'm getting you out of this.
Take care of her.
I promise. Seatbelts.
Oh, we'll see it the 28th though. The day before, yeah. No, the film looks really good, and like I said, the reviews for it, the first reactions toward it have been nothing but positive. Like I said, people calling it possibly one of the greatest films of the year, calling it some of the best sci-fi of all time. This is coming from Brandon Davis over at comicbook.com, where he said The Creator is astonishingly good, best film of the year, and best sci-fi film in ages, in my opinion. Garth Edwards flips expectations really impressively for a visceral, touching, and creative story of humanity. Genuinely loved it. You have to see this one. Then someone else said Garth Edwards doesn't miss with The Creator. The movie takes place alongside Terminator 2, Alien, and Star Wars as absolute smashing examples of how sci-fi can parallel our world. It's easily among the best film of the year. Then we see we've got someone else that said The Creator is a masterful piece of original sci-fi. Garth Edwards is one of the greatest filmmakers, a soulful, nuanced, Lucas-like interrogation of human beliefs / biases, and our insecurity in the face of something greater. Spectacle and heart to the highest order. Pure cinema, baby. Someone else said, though it pulls from identifiable inspirations. Though it pulls from identifiable inspirations, The Creator is one of the best original sci-fi epics in years. Massively entertaining, enthralling, and profound on every level. Garth Edwards constructs an impressive world and fills it with compelling characters, absolutely radical. But to that first part where she says, though it pulls from identifiable inspirations, yeah, but so what? And the reason I say so what to that is because it's like, one, there's nothing new under the sun when it comes to anything anyway. You know, you can look at one movie and make comparisons to another movie. You know, people make the comparisons with, with Dune and Star Wars, with George taking elements of Dune and turning it into Star Wars and things like that. You know, like that's what's going to happen. You know, you've got even the comparisons in music with Lady Gaga and Madonna, with Michael Jackson and Chris Brown and the others, and so on and so on, with comparisons in music. Like, yeah, it's fine if it has identifiable inspirations, in my opinion. Because she said, though it pulls, she said that like it was a bad thing, the way she started it. Though it pulls from identifiable inspirations. I think that's fine. It's said from the director of Rogue One, so obviously he's going to be pulling from Star Wars. You know, and other elements that, like this dude up here said, Terminator, Alien 2, or Terminator 2 and Alien and Star Wars. You know, yeah, it's gonna pull from other things. I think that's where you start with an inspiration. That's where you start with an idea. You know, if you can pull inspiration from something and then turn it into your own, like they did with the creator, I don't see the problem with it pulling from identifiable properties. Someone else said, visually, the creator is phenomenal. If you want a cinematographer on the rise, to keep your eye on its Oren Soffer. This movie is one stunning frame after the next. I'll read the two more. This one said, the creator is bold, fun, sci-fi delight. It has an engrossing story, gorgeous visuals, resonant themes, and epic action. My main problem is it didn't make me cry. It tries very hard, but a tiny lack of connection means it just misses being a perfect package, but only just. And that's still a compliment within that. That's still a big compliment to it. It says the creator is a masterpiece and one of the year's best movies. It hits on so many levels. With AI being such a hot topic, Garth Edwards does a masterful job of keeping the audience engaged every step of the way. I don't want to butcher your name. Has to be in the conversation for the Oscars. Is that the little girl? That might be the little girl. Maybe. So yeah. People really seem to like what they are seeing. I liked, like I said, when I first saw the first trailer, I was like, yeah, I want to see this. This looks like it's going to be good. So I'm interested to see it, and we're going to see it on the 28th. So of course we'll do a review for you guys before we start. You know, we'll add our review in with whatever the topics are for that day. But yeah, looks like it's going to be good. Let's see. I'll answer some of these here too. Omega said, I'm out now. Awesome night playing Fanatics. Cool to talk a lot of Star Wars. May the Force be with you. May the Force be with you too, brother. Appreciate you being here. Xavier said, I hope Q is feeling much better now. Yeah, keep our prayers for Q. Gray said, I heard that the reviews were good so far. Rhyme said, I can't wait to see it. Same. Stamina said, ain't paying no IMAX tax, but we'll go watch it. Booked my ticket yesterday. What's up, Planeteers? Appreciate you being here, Stamina. Xavier said, I'm looking forward to this, like the Generations AI artificial intelligence film, but much better. Yeah. Gray said, looks well shot. I love the scope of it so far. Yeah, it looks really good. It really does. Fresh Film Fan said, I like that John David Washington is doing uniquely looking films. Yeah. And the more I wasn't going to bring this up, but the more I keep looking at him, I'm like, T'Challa. T'Challa. Somebody be him. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Stamina said, the only way is up after Malcolm and Marie, I guess. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Gray said he's building out his resume. Carolina Boy 90 said the fact that this movie looks visually stunning with an $80 million budget is, yeah, right. And see, I didn't even know that it had $80 million budget. That is crazy. That's crazy. Gray said, can't cry for urban folk, huh? Rhyme said, I enjoyed Malcolm and Marie, even though it was miscast to me. I don't know what I felt for Malcolm and Marie. It was different. Yeah, I don't know. And I think also, I love both of them as actor and actress, but putting those two together, I agree with you on the miscast too. Yeah, I'll agree to that, yeah. Grace read that. Stamina said, I did too, but I couldn't. Oh, talking to Rhymes. B said, it looks like a good movie. Glad to hear Q is out on the mend. On the what? On the mend? Dexter said, yep, I'm checking this out. The Jinx said, I love the epic music. Yeah, looks like it's going to be really good. Really good. Zangbeto said, John may not be his daddy, but he's turning out to be a damn good actor. Yeah. Yeah, guys, that's really, like I said, the stream tonight wasn't supposed to be Star Wars related like that, but it just turned into that. But I do, like I said, appreciate everybody being here tonight with me. I'm going to be back in here this weekend. I've got some things I've got to work on in here. Got to make sure that we've got our new intro up, got to make sure that we've got our new outro up, and got to make sure that we're able to start doing these giveaways again and get everybody their giveaways that they already won. So if you weren't here last night when we discussed this, everybody's giveaways, we still remember everyone's giveaways. We still have everybody's names and what they won written down, and all the gifts still are in a box that we are going to start dispensing out to everyone. We apologized for that. Corey was originally sending all of those and paying for it out of her own pocket, but since I am over the shipping department at my job, I can just do it for free. I'll just send everybody stuff for free, so there's no delay in anybody getting their stuff. So I'll make sure that everybody gets their stuff so that when we do new games, we can, when we start playing games again, we can get everybody who might win something their stuff promptly. Like Shirley Miles, I know you, I owe you the Funko Justice League. I did not forget that, so I'm make sure we get everybody everything that they are owed as well. So yeah, like I said, appreciate everybody hanging out with me. Can I show one more Star Wars thing? I don't know if everybody saw this, or if who has seen this rather. This is one of my favorites. This is from Rebels, but in Rebels, Ian McDermott, or not Ian McDermott, I'm sorry, Sam Witwer voices the Emperor. But they had Ian McDermott come in and redo one of the scenes that Sam Witwer did, where Palpatine is talking to Vader after Vader discovers that Ahsoka is still alive. So the first voice we're going to hear, I might have shown this before, and I'm sure people have seen this, but this is one of my favorites. I love this. It's fucking dope. The first voice we hear is Sam Witwer. The second voice we hear is Ian. Sam's Palpatine sounds more like a right after Revenge of the Sith Palpatine. Ian's Palpatine sounds like the older, stop talking to me about fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm sick of that bullshit Palpatine. He's the more, you'll hear the fluctuations in his voice and everything. It's very different, but it's cool.
Lord Vader, have you dealt with the rebels in the Lothal system?
Yes, Master. They are broken.
And yet I sense in you something more to your victory.
I believe the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker lives and is in league with these rebels.
Are you certain?
It was her.
This is an opportunity we cannot let pass. Skywalker's apprentice could lead us to other lost Jedi.
Such as Kenobi.
Perhaps, if he lives. Be patient, my old friend. For now, dispatch another Inquisitor to hunt them down.
As you wish, my master.
Yeah, Sam does a good job. But, bruh, you just can't touch Ian.
Lord Vader, have you dealt with the rebels in the Lothal system?
Yes, master. They are broken.
And yet I sense in you something more to your victory.
I believe the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker lives and is in league with these rebels.
Are you certain?
It was her.
This is an opportunity we cannot let pass. Skywalker's apprentice could lead us to other lost Jedi.
Such as Kenobi.
Perhaps, if he lives. Be patient, my old friend. For now, dispatch another Inquisitor to hunt them down.
Bro.
As you wish, my master.
Ian is the GOAT. God, bruh. That, like I said, Sam does a good job. Sam does a good job. You know, Sam voices the Emperor also in Force Unleashed. So Sam does a good job. But Ian just perfects that shit, bruh. He perfects that shit. That's so dope. So dope. Warriors FS said, did everyone just forget about that new badass series about U.S. Marshal Bass Reeves? Oh, no. Okay. All right. Now, I know about it. I know about it because, one, U.S. Marshal Bass is on my family tree. Two, the plantation that they filmed that movie at, or the series at, was the plantation my 6th great grandmother was on. My grandmother Tabby. I think I've shown you guys a picture of her before, of her holding her young Massa Albert. That's the DeVrux plantation. The DeVruxes owned that side of my family, my father's side of the family, down in Texas. So I was just at that plantation where they filmed back in March for my grandmother's birthday. I went back to Texas for my grandmother's birthday. She lives in Jacksonville. Went and saw my grandma. And while down there, because Jacksonville is only about 30-45 minutes from that plantation, so me and my mom, and I have those videos, like I'll have to show you guys that shit, because I filmed it. So I was trying to figure out, why the fuck can't I get on the grounds? So there was a car that was sitting there, and it was a security guard. So I went up to him. I was like, hey, can I go on property? Because I'm trying. I was like, my grandmother, not just my grandmother, but her husband and their kids, like my family was enslaved here. Can I view the property? And he said, any other time, normally you would be able to, but they're about to start shooting the Bass Reeves film here, and we're having everything taped off. So I was like, I said, shut up. I said, who's playing him? I forget bro's name. I can't, and even if I remembered, I don't think I can pronounce it. He played Malcolm X and Selma. So yeah, it's so Bass Reeves is also, like I said, on my family tree as well. Let me see really quick here. I'll show you guys that. I'll show you guys that really quick. Before I go, I'll show you guys that really quick. If you don't care, it's fine. You don't have to. I'll show you guys that really quick. Hold on, guys. Okay. Let me pull this up. Can see. Yeah, whatever. Alright. So, this right here is my family tree. There's little old me. Anyway, my mommy and everybody. But if I go here, where's the search? I never use it on the computer. I'm always on my phone on this. But Bass Reeves, here he is. Bass Reeves right here. One of my cousins. Right here on our family tree. Bass was born in 1841. Now, Bass was not born in Oklahoma. What happened was he married a freedman. He married a freedman woman. And due to him marrying a freedman woman, it gave him the benefits. Oh shit! I'm not paying for Ancestry right now, so they ain't let me look. That's stupid. If it's already on my tree, why the fuck can I look at it? He married a freedman woman, and because he married a freedman woman, he gained access to freedman benefits like land and things like that. I believe his wife passed before him, though. Oh no. Wait. No, she passed after him. No, she passed after him. Then he became the first black deputy here in Oklahoma and things like that. Yeah, that's my cousin there. And then I'll show you guys also the plan. Well, I don't have a picture of I don't think I do, of the plantation, but this is my grandmother who was on the plantation where they filmed the movie or the series. My grandmother Tabby. Like I said, she was owned by the DeVruxes. Her, and this is her right here. I've posted a picture of her on Twitter. That's my grandmother, and that's her young master Albert. She was gifted to him when he was born. Wild shit, right? So yeah, that's my grandmother, and that's the plantation that they filmed that. So I did know about that, brother. I definitely did. I did know about that. See, this is the Mount Verde plantation. That's it right there. And my grandmother's name is on this plaque that is outside there. And there it is right there. And that's my grandfather. It begins with both of them. My grandfather and my grandmother. Yeah. It's crazy, right? It's crazy shit, man. History, I love history. So I can go on and on and on with history. But that is it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, that Bass Reeves series, I'm definitely going to be watching it for sure. I'm definitely going to be watching it. Let's see. Amy91 said, I'm going to miss James Earl Jones voicing Darth Vader. So am I. Even if they do they're doing the whole AI thing, and that's what they used a lot of, and the Obi-Wan Kenobi series was a lot of AI. But yeah, I'm going to miss his voice for sure. But I will say, too, I wish they would have done a little bit more of something with his voice in Rogue One. I love James Earl Jones. I think, obviously James Earl Jones' voice is one of the voices of just in general, one of the voices when it comes to anything that he's done with his voice. Playing Mufasa, playing Vader, in even when he's just acting as him, not as himself, but even acting like in Coming to America as King Joffrey, when he said Joffrey, when he was like, "My son works," all that shit. Like he's a voice. So, but I wish they would have done something with it in Rogue One, because you could hear James Earl Jones's age in Vader's voice in Rogue One, and it made Vader's seem weaker. When he was talking to Krennic, when he was like, an Imperial facility openly attacked. I was like, oh shit, he's about to say, oh, Vader. But I do, like I said, he is the voice. Stamina said, yes, David. Oh yeah, see, that's where I fuck up. I got David. It's the part after. But yes, that brother right there who played Dr. King in Selma. Blues House said, yeah, he played him okay. Gray said, right, I ain't paying them either. Stamina said she was gifted to him when he was born. It's one of the most fucked up sentences I'll hear. I'm telling you, bro. When I first found that out, I was like, wow. So he wasn't even old enough at the time. At that, while he was a baby, obviously she was his mammy. But once he became old enough, he was their master. So yeah, but yeah, bro, I appreciate you bringing that up. I appreciate you bringing that up for sure. I'll be checking that out, and I hope everybody else does too. So again, I appreciate all you guys hanging out with me tonight and everything like that. I will be back with you guys on Wednesday. Hopefully Q by that time is better, and hopefully Corey doesn't catch anything from KJ and she is okay as well. If not, I'll just be back here with me, and then I will we'll have another stream or something where we're doing stuff like this. I like the streams where we just kind of hang out and talk random stuff. It doesn't always have to be a stream where we're talking news, leaks, and topics. Like, where I like these ones where we're hanging out and just talking about different random things. Granted, the main thing was Star Wars, but we talked about a few, like a minimum of other things. So yeah, I appreciate all y'all. So as always, appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see all of you guys on Wednesday in the next stream. And I think we talked about last night that we came to the agreement that we are going to live stream with you guys for Loki. So when Loki comes out October 5th now at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, before that, we're going to be live with you guys discussing a little bit, maybe 30 minutes before the actual show drops on Disney+. Then we're going to timestamp, and then you guys will be able to follow along with us, and we'll be commentating throughout it and talk to you guys about each episode at the end. So look forward to that in about 2 weeks from Loki. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and I love all of you guys too. Thank you so much, Rhymes. Thank you so much, Greg, for the kind words. Thank you, Xavier. Thank you, Ant-Man. Good night to everyone. I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys all have a great night, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Stay safe. Love you guys so very